What is up, tech fans? This is episode 6 of the Tech Lounge. I don't know why it says number 5. Like, I edited it, I set the description as number 6. So that's just YouTube. I blame YouTube for this. So we're getting another awesome week of tech news, joined by the man himself. Kevin, how are you?
Hey, Brian. Yeah, I'm doing real good, man. How about you?
Yeah, really good. Well, tired because I had to build. I was on Twitter and I posted up the photos of the new rig. It's in the Cooler Master Case 5. So I've got that cracking. It looks actually really amazing. The Master Case is so good to build in. Actually, I was really surprised. This is easily the best case in terms of flexibility and like things that didn't annoy me.
Oh yeah.
Just oh yeah, you gotta sound more enthusiastic than that. It's a master case. But
I've just been building in sort of pretty rubbish cases lately, like all the budget-in ones, and it makes me, whenever I go back to my 780T, I'm just like, oh, this is so much better.
Yeah. So well the thing is,
sort of spoiled.
Yeah, well, with this month, this month. Well, yeah, this month is the start of the month. This week, we've got Kevin putting his microphone right up to his mouth.
Right up close.
Yeah, because I know people were complaining about the audio, so hopefully it's fixed this week. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. And, okay, it says the stream is frozen, and it's not getting any drop frames.
No, it looks good on my end. It seems like it's alright.
Okay, yeah, so the audio, hopefully the audio is good, hopefully the video is good, and we should have an awesome show for you guys. And, yeah, so basically, yeah, the Master Case 5, there's probably like a couple little things that I don't like with it, but overall, in terms of building in that case, it is really damn good. Like, you know, I guess because I've been building in like cheap secondhand cases, it's like a real different break for me. I'm like, oh wow, this fits, no hassles. Oh wow, this is no hassle. Oh, no hassle. So yeah, that's crazy. So it was really good. So yeah, and the other case, yeah, got rid of it. Just I got to get rid of stuff, man. I've got like a little shoebox to work in here. So yeah,
I know that feeling, man. With that HP Omen I have, it's just so huge. It's taking up all the space. But I had quite an interesting morning. You'll enjoy this. I woke up and got dressed and everything. Yeah. And as I was sort of going about my morning, I realized there was something inside of my pants which I wasn't too pleased to feel, and I took them off and realized there was a whitetail spider, which isn't a very good one to have.
What, in your jocks?
Yeah, in my pants, not in my underwear. That would have been, heart attack material. Because if they bite something like a finger, it'll fall off. So I guess if they bit something else, that might fall off too.
Damn, man, that's... Dude,
no, it's scary, man. I had a heart attack for a second. New Zealand's not bad because we don't have any spiders that can kill you here, unlike Australia where everything kills you. But that spider can maim you sort of quite nicely. So yeah, I was pretty shocked to see that. Gave me my morning heart attack.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you got bitten, then you can try out for the new Walking Dead cast, you know? Missing a mouth or whatever. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy, dude. Like I've heard like a local, he got stung 3 times by a redback. Yeah, dead. Oh. And that was a big guy. Like this guy went to the gym and everything, like huge. And you know, but the thing is, the redback stung him near the heart. So it was like, damn, you know, had he got stung on the hand or something like that, probably wouldn't have been a problem. But yeah, man, there's some deadly. Well, up here we've got the redback spiders. Down in Sydney, they've got the funnel webs. They're even more deadly.
Yeah,
so
they're
like,
real.
I mean, a redback spider, you can survive a bite from it. But a funnel web, generally it's game over, man. So
yeah, I spend a lot of time up north, up near Bundaberg, and the main thing you had to watch out for up there, obviously the spiders like normal, but was the taipans, which is a snake that's extremely deadly. You get bit by one of those, oh boy. Yeah. You're gone, burgers.
Dangerous snakes and spiders, guys. Dangerous.
That's Australia.
Yeah, well, it is. It's Australia and some other place. I mean, yeah, we got deadly snakes too, but anyway. So, anything else that's happened? I've actually had 2 dying hard drives here. So my brother's external hard drive was dying, and I managed to check that, scan all the errors out, and I told him, look, copy your data off straight away. And ironically, I'm copying my data and another hard drive like literally dies in the last 5%. So I'm copying it now. I'm on 61% complete, copying all the files off, and this has taken half a day already. So, so that's 2 hard drives. And what exactly what it is, it's heat. Basically with your hard drives, guys, keep your hard drives cool. I mean, it's gotten really hot around here, 30-something degrees in this room. And and that's what people in the comments are right. Even Australia, even like the snakes and the spiders are so deadly that they kill your hard drives too. Just by looking at them. True,
right? There's a funny thing that's happening with my hard drive. Actually, I run 3 drives in my personal rig, 2 SSDs, and a WD Black 2 terabyte HDD for my mass storage. Anyways, one thing I noticed lately was that it was, even though I would check in Task Manager, all that, there was nothing going to it. I even unplugged the data cable going to it. It was making this sort of thudding noise every sort of 5 seconds or so. And it was still doing it with the data cable disabled, so I know it was something to do with power going on. And I went through, got all the WD drive utilities and went through all that, and then I thought I'll back up everything off it anyway, then format it, do a full format and chuck everything back on, see if that fixes it. And it hasn't. But for those people out there, the WD drive, if a lot of you out there, there's a big sort of, a lot of people talk about if you should get the WD Black or a Seagate Barracuda. And I've run both back to back, and I will tell you right now, the Barracuda is way more quiet, although the Black is definitely quite a bit faster than the Barracuda. But they're both like slow when you compare to SSDs now. Like,
well, if this drive,
and I saw your new video about it too. That was really good to watch. Ryan's new video. What was it? It was the
SSD,
did an M.2 against just some standard SSDs, eh?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is with that, well, I'll just quickly talk about the Western Digital. It's funny because, I mean, they're not dead yet, but I'm going to make a video on how you can salvage what you can and the warning signs. Like, I think it's an important video. Like, your data is so important, and, losing the really important data, it can set you back. My brother, he was like smashing up the filing cabinet because he thought he had lost all his data permanently. And I said, that's not going to fix anything. Calm down. And anyway, I told him, like, I already told, because we had a Seagate hard drive fail over a year ago, and that thing just went out. Like, I just said, you're lucky that this thing was able to come back and let you take the data off it before. It's not officially dead yet, and this other hard drive is not officially dead yet, which is actually great because I can actually get the footage now to do a video of what happens when a hard drive's on its way out. And I can show you what to do about things you can do for that, and that's a cool video that's going to be upcoming. Because there are some things that you can do. Like, in some cases, you can partition the drive off, and then you can get lucky and you can just cut off the bad sector, and the hard drive will still work. Other times it won't. But basically, the bottom line is always back up your data on 2 separate medias. You know what I mean? You just can't, like, if you just get into. Exactly, it's a good habit to get into. You're not going to be exposing yourself. Really serious things. Like, I told my brother, he's learned it now. He's went and copied like it all. Like, he's went and got overkill, copied it to his laptop, copied it to a hard drive, copied it to a USB stick. Just every time he opens a friggin' portable media or whatever, he's gonna have his important files pop up in his face. But I mean, at least he's taken. It's better to go overkill than not be, to be exposed like he was. So I think he learned his lesson there. For me,
it's a good thing to learn. I mean, the thing is, what you're saying is true. What my Barracuda did was that usually, I mean, when you do your video on it, you'll be able to tell people all this, but my Barracuda made no noise whatsoever. But when I would go into my computer, or this PC, now I suppose you call it, on Windows 10, a lot of times it just wasn't showing up. So I'd go to run a game or something I had on that hard drive, and it will come up, directory not found, blah, blah, blah. You go into my computer, and it's just not there. It was just disappearing, and you'd restart the computer, and then it would show up. So it was being sort of funny like that, even though physically it wasn't doing all the classic hard drive sort of carrying on where you hear it's constantly sounds like it's writing, or constantly making big funny noises and thudding and
it's funny. It's funny, right? Because there's so many different parts on a hard drive that could fail. It could be the controller failing. That's what it sounds like in your case. The controller was failing. It could be the actual drive, the the spindle's failing. So there's so many different parts on a hard drive that could fail. And I'll tell you now, it's heat. Like, keep your hard drives cool, keep them vented, and they should take care of you. It's just this time I was exposed. I didn't even think about it. I was just left my drive there. I was like, oh, it's a blue. It doesn't get that hot anyway. It's a 3 terabyte blue.
Yeah.
And it was the last 5%. It just slowed down like all hell. And I'm like, what's going on here? Then Windows is popping out input output errors. I'm like, oh Jesus. So yeah,
it's good these days. A lot of you guys who have been building systems for a while will know that, like when I was building, say 8 years ago, it wasn't common practice back then for the hard drive cages to be mounted behind the front fans.
Yeah.
They're often, you know, they're up near the optical drive or other things like that, and it was quite a good thing now that it's pretty much become standard to mount the drive cages behind your front fans. So that's good for keeping them cool.
I mean, especially with global warming, right? You got to keep your hard drives cool as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's with hard drives. I can't wait to do that video. I think it's pretty cool because there is a program that I am going to show you guys what to use and how to sort of bring back dead drives as well, especially if people are selling like drives that are slowed down or they're faulty or whatever, so you can still try and salvage them. That'll be a cool thing. So anyway, on the news, what have we got on the news here? We got we got Tech City forums, techcity.tv/forums. We've also got the giveaway here. It's got 11 hours left, isn't it?
Yeah, 10 hours left. Yeah, so
okay,
definitely get in before it closes, guys. You don't want to miss out on potentially winning a whole set of SteelSeries peripherals, which would be pretty good.
Okay, and we've also got Revolver as well. There was a guy who made up my background for my YouTube channel. He did the channel art and he did the avatar. I'll put his link in the description once this goes to the archive. His name's Revolver, really good, really talented, and he did those graphics for me. So it was really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. And anyway, let's talk about AMD. People like Brian, you've got to get in. Kev, you've got to get into this AMD stuff now, right now. So 5 reasons we got here. It's a pretty good article. I say it's a good article from Twitter.
Yeah. So this is about obviously Vega. They talk about this is again rumors, but we're starting to, you know, once you hear the same rumors over and over and over, you'll. What's up, man?
Alright, just this TweetTown's website just crashed on me. I'm like, oh man, I don't know.
Is it coming back up? Or?
I don't know. I sometimes I have problems on TweetTown, their website. I don't know. So I just hope these ads. Well, I just hope these ads don't start playing like volume
noise.
Yeah. Just.
Just maybe
you take this one away. You take this one.
Yeah.
You're well versed with Vega.
I'll explain it for you guys, anyways. So core wise, so these are again rumors, but they sound pretty reasonable to me. So I would assume these will probably be the case. 4096 cores. That's pretty good. That's the same as Fiji XT. So that's pretty much what you would expect. Obviously, it'll be different though because it will be on the 14 nanometer FinFET process. They're saying it's going to have about 12 teraflops of performance, which puts it above the GTX 1080, which is at 10.8 teraflops. It's also going to be coming with HBM2, so either 8 gigs or 16 gigs. So that will be offering
huge
huge just memory bandwidth. They're saying 10,024 gigabits per second over the 320 of the 1080. TDP wise, this is something we haven't talked much about and hasn't been talked about much. 225 watt TDP, so that puts it vastly above the 1080, which is off the top of my mind 165, I believe. And quite a bit above obviously the RX 480, which was coming in at 150. So yeah, quite a high TDP, but this has been standard for AMD. They go for performance rather than, you know, power efficiency. It's standard.
Yeah, I think that's sorry, you go.
No, I was just going to say, and the clock speed 1465 megahertz, which is, depending on if they're going to have a boost function, which we did see on the RX 480, so I assume we would see it on this also. That will be the base clock speed, and it will probably boost up a bit higher than that, probably 1500, maybe 1600 something. So it's safe to say it'll probably be clocked less than the 1080, but I think in raw performance, it should be more powerful than the 1080 there.
I mean, that was the whole thing with Pascal. We had higher clocks. They sacrificed everything to get those higher clocks up, probably setting up for their next generation. But with Vega, we've got here, the specs look really good. I'm going to say I like looking at the specs of this, but I think more importantly is that I think people are getting sick of, like we said last week and the week before that, people are getting sick of the drivers. The drivers from NVIDIA have been absolutely crap. I'm actually really doing some stuff. I want to test if I can get like a clean sort of install for the NVIDIA drivers, which is sad. I shouldn't have to do an optimization guide for freaking graphics card drivers like I did for Windows 10. I mean, there's always been those optimization guides way back to XP. People were doing, I was remembering, back in the early 2000s, it was like, XP optimization guides and stuff, but you shouldn't have to do that for freaking graphics card drivers. But I think I'm going to have to. And I think that's, people buying AMD graphics cards is a way of AMD saying, or a way of the consumer saying that, hey, we don't want to be treated like crap. We're enthusiasts. Exactly. We don't need this crap. And so with this, I mean, AMD just have to really hit a solid product. They don't have to be the 1080 Ti beating performance card. They just have to, I think, with this time around, they just have to release a solid card out there. And this is what I'm looking at with these specs. It looks really solid. I mean, 16 gigabytes, up to 16 gigabytes of HBM2, that's huge. I mean, damn.
Oh, and the memory bandwidth, you would have I don't know what you could be doing to try, hit a memory limit on that. That would just be huge. But it's the thing that they haven't talked about too much is price. And HBM is not cheap.
It isn't, no, it isn't.
Also, this has to come in at the same price as the 1080 with hopefully, say, a 20% bump in performance for it to be... That would destroy it then, which I would imagine... The 1080 runs GDDR5X, which if you aren't aware, doubles the data rate over
actually,
DDR5.
That's technically no. I mean, it's running at 10 gigabits per second as opposed to.
I mean, if it was, it
has the potential.
Utilized,
it has the potential
to go, but it doesn't right now. But I'm saying maybe with, even though we've talked about in the past, maybe with the 1080 Ti, they might go for it then and really use it to its full potential. But we don't know yet. Again, they could just use standard GDDR5 on the 1080 Ti and run a very wide bus, like a 384-bit bus.
Yeah, I mean, they could go to their standard practice there, yeah.
Yeah, there might be something like that, but it'll be very, very interesting. But right now, looking at these specs, if this is how it actually turns out to be, then I would say this will give it a very good edge over the GTX 1080. However, it comes down to price-wise, where is it going to fit in, and also then once NVIDIA release the GTX 1080 Ti, which will have very close performance, I would imagine, to the Titan XP, then
well, that's the thing. That's what worries me. Is like, when are they releasing this? And I mean, we know the 1080 Ti is coming. We just know that's coming probably like January or something now. So next month.
I think they'll wait because they've usually put it out very shortly after. But they might put it out beforehand. But I would be very surprised if they did that, because I think they want to get sort of maximum sales out of the 1080 first, and then. Maybe think about that, but even then, price-wise, the 1080 Ti I doubt will be that close to the 1080. So even if the Vega 10 GPUs are the same price as the 1080, but getting say 10-15%, maybe even 20% better performance at the same price, then the 1080 Ti will come in obviously beating it, but it will be at a higher price unless NVIDIA is just going to drop all their line and pricing. They would have to.
Well, it's game on. Game on, AMD.
It's game on.
Could you imagine though?
AMD,
could you just imagine 16 gigabytes of HBM2 on your graphics card? Just complete overkill. And then this time around, I will jump on that bandwagon. I'll be like, look, that's 16 gigabytes of HBM2. It'll make your computer. It'll overclock your monitor. It'll even overclock your CPU for you.
Yeah,
and I think
crazy.
that's the kind of marketing AMD needs to go with. They just need to go outside the box. Look, forget about downloadmoreram.com. Forget about that. We're just dropping 16 gigabytes of HBM2 on here. Just
Yeah, and
life.
it'll be very good for their marketing department. This is what we spoke about when it came with the 1080 Ti, and the fact that if they do just run standard GDDR5, they're going to have a hard time marketing it if someone who doesn't know much about it is just reading off the box and they grab the 1080 and it says GDDR5X memory, then they grab the 1080 Ti and it just says standard GDDR5. They'll probably be confused. Whereas with AMD, if they pick up Vega and see HBM2 and it has all the marketing stuff and it says like, look at this huge bus width and look at the, this is so much better, this is so much more advanced type thing. You crowd it all together on the die, which also makes the PCB very small, which is good. They'll be able to really sell it marketing-wise really nicely.
Well, I'm actually keen to see how this actually stacks up in the productivity segment. I mean, that HBM2, 16 gigabytes can be definitely utilized in certain programs, not gaming. So
not gaming.
Yeah, exactly. So something like this could really hit hard. I mean, for me personally, from what I've tested with Premiere Pro, OpenCL does a better job. Like, even for 4K video editing, a 7870 was just killing it.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and a 660 Ti and a 750 Ti, like especially the 660 Ti, which was, it's kind of like its competitor. That thing was kind of struggling a lot in the same tests. Wow. Yeah, so the 7870 was just like handily. It's like, yeah, I've got another 50% leg room, and I'm just being capped by the program pretty much. The 7870 was so good for 4K video editing, and that's a real budget card. So OpenCL, I think, has a lot more power at its disposal, and especially if programs can utilize that. Something like this graphics card would be great for someone who's gaming and doing sort of, bit of a productivity work. I think it'll hit hard there. I mean, their drivers have been really on point lately. Ever since I tried that R9 390, I think it was, I was impressed. I thought, wow, AMD's drivers are coming back into town. They're actually working really well. That did it for me. When I tested that R9 390, I was like, damn, AMD's serious about their drivers now. I'd love to see them just have something like Shadowplay, even if they call it like whatever, quick cap. They call it quick cap, hotkey, bang, don't have to use OBS or whatever. It's hassle free. It works really well. AMD, please do it. Do it.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure they're going to come out with something on the software side to really shake things up.
Just something easy, something that you can hotkey, just like Shadowplay, except rip it off, and don't have telemetry and all that stupid message crap pop up on your screen, and they'll have a winner on their hands. That's it for me with Vega. I mean, let me know in the comments. Let us know in the comments, guys. What do you think? Do you think Vega's going to kick ass, or do you think it's going to be a nay? Love to read them. I'm actually looking at the comments now. I'm watching the comments. Comments is healthy. It's good. Yeah. We've got some good people in the comments. Anyway,
should we talk about Zen?
We should. We should.
Keen?
Well, I mean, this week you are on point with your AMD. So you take this one away again.
It's so funny with AMD because so many people have called me biased towards NVIDIA so many times, even though out of all the tech YouTubers, I've probably made more AMD videos. On my channel in general, I've made more AMD videos than NVIDIA ones. So it's just people out there, they'll throw anything, no matter who it is. I've seen it happen to every tech YouTuber. They've been called biased one way or the other by certain fanboys. This
is the thing about the AMD, right? The AMD, it used to be ATI, man. Now, when this has been going on for ages, dude. Like, even when I just got into PCs, it was always like F NVIDIA, go ATI. Like, there was that strong red sentiment that's always been there.
I think it's the underdog sentiment because they've been on the back foot for so many generations now. It's sort of, maybe people are a bit more like that. But anyways, we'll
but that's the thing. You say one thing like, oh, it's not as good as this card. And you call it straight down the line. It doesn't matter. You're still going to get, you're still going to have these people unleash the wrath of the red on you. You know what I mean? You just can't avoid it sometimes. It just can't be helped. I mean, I don't give a shit. I'm like immune to that stuff now. It's like, look, this is what it is, Go to a go get some confirmation bias on Google or go to any other channel and just like, please just get off this channel, man. I'm just calling it straight down the line. I'm not going to change, but you know, like they could just, and they will. This is the thing, they will keep going. The true diehard fanboys. I've got nothing against them. I actually love them now. I love these fanboys now. They're actually really cool. Like, get in there, fist pump.
A confirmation bias type thing. Like they'll go around 10 different channels and they'll all say a certain card's better than other. Then they'll try find one which disagrees with the whole lot, and then they'll say, "Look, you know, I was correct the whole time." But yeah, with regards
this is the thing. Can I just finish up with these guys? With these guys. We need them more than ever now. We need AMD. AMD has to perform now with Vega and with their new Zen, upcoming Zen. Now, these guys, I want them to go ham, caps lock everywhere, AMD for life with the, you know, LYF, and I'm a AMD till I'm die. You know, like, just go with those comments, caps lock everywhere. Pick it up, guys. It's time for you to let out your, you know, red fanboyism. Just go hard. We need it in the next couple of months. That's what we need.
Yeah, we need the competition.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Really good.
So yeah, you've got my full-fledged permission. Anyone says anything negative about AMD, just go at them, okay? In the next couple of months.
Exactly. So speaking of AMD, we're talking about Zen, like always, because we're getting closer to the reveal, which will probably be December 13th. So that'll be interesting. But this article was quite good in terms of talking about the like what we know so far with the Zen architecture. How it's looking right now is they're going to be doing 3 main different types, which will be the SR sort of line, which is directly more or less comparable to the i3, i5, and i7, and the fact that they're going to have the SR3, the SR5, and the SR7. So the difference there will be that the amount of cores will be sort of upped, where on the SR5 you'll be getting a 4-core 8-thread CPU, whereas on Intel the i5s are usually a 4-core or quad-core without hyper-threading, and the SR7s are going to be the big 8 cores with hyper-threading or another sort of.
It'll be interesting. It looks like they're giving their own little spin of that. Yeah, like they're going, okay, we're going to go take it into our own little bracket, see what Intel's doing, but kind of offer that, you know, like they used to do back in the older days. They used to have that, you know, 4400 plus or whatever. That meant that this is comparable to an Intel CPU, but it's faster kind of thing. I liked how they did that marketing. It was smart. It kind of looks like we're bringing back some of that again, right? You know.
Yeah, it's almost probably the easiest way to think about it is it's going to be like if Intel's entire lineup shifted upwards. Say if you were thinking i3, i5, i7, but also the Enthusiast i7s, but it all shifted up so that the i3s became the i5s. Because that's what it's going to be with the SR3. Is going to be quad core without hyper threading, you know, so 4 cores, 4 threads. And then the i5s move up to the i7s. So it was a 4 core with hyper threading, so 8 threads. So that'll be your SR5s. And then the i7s moved up just within their own lineup to the Enthusiast series from the Core series. And then you'd get the things like the 6900K with 8 cores and 16 threads. So it's almost like AMD's sort of doing a one step up at each stage than the Intel.
They have to. I mean, they have to, right? So that's the thing. They have to.
Yeah,
right?
and that's really good.
It's looking good so
consumers
far
as well. Yeah. So on the core front, however, that's not everything. As you guys know, there's, you know, you got to see what the performance is going to be on those. You know, cores are great, but they're not everything. You have to see what the performance is going to be of those cores. And
I am going to touch the stove a little bit. You know, it's like hopefully they don't, you know, hopefully they don't just kill me in the comments. I am a little bit worried about how they're not being forthcoming with Zen. You know, like they kind of shifted, like, oh, we're actually releasing this new CPU lineup on OEMs first, and kind of like when, you know, especially at PAX, like when I spoke to people there, it was like that they were excited, but they weren't excited. You know what I mean? Like when you know something's gonna absolutely kick ass, You just talk about it like, this is going to be shit, man. This is going to be like bang, bang, bang. I didn't see that from anyone at PAX.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see it. And so I'm worried. That's what I mean. That's why I'm worried about it. Like, what happened with that blender benchmark? I mean, my gut tells me I'm a little bit worried with Zen's performance. I just hope it's not true. It just can't be true.
Yeah, I'm sort of a bit worried as well. I mean, AMD's touting a 40% gain in terms of IPC over Excavator. The main thing I worry is that the lower clock speeds, because right now we're seeing that the top SKU SR7 looks like it's going to have a turbo speed of 3.5 gigahertz, so 3.5. That's quite a drop-off in the past if we think that things like their previous 8 cores on the FX line were going up well over 4 gigahertz, 4.2, 4.3 type place.
Yeah.
And of course they were unlocked as well, so people were taking them way up to 5 gigahertz in some cases. That's where my worry is, that these clock speeds are looking quite low, and I do worry. At the same time, people will say, well, look at Intel's Enthusiast line. Things like the 6900K have quite lower clock speeds than their core series, and that's very true, but this is supposed to be gaming.
And then we kind of see this new little picture here. It's like they've dropped down the previous line, and then they're like, yeah, total efficiency gain. And it's like, I don't like that marketing. Come on, let's just say it's going to kick ass. I hope it's going to kick ass. Like, I just, there is that that pessimist side of me that's worried about this. Like, is it going to perform? But then there's that other side that's like, no, Brian, you have to ignore that. It has to be good. And they're like, this is it. This is it, fellas. Everyone in tech, this is it. They have to perform, otherwise we're done. I mean, or Samsung could take them over or whatnot and then put a heap of R&D in there, and we could see some competition again. I mean, there's possibilities, but yeah, it's got to be. So 11. Also, we've got 1331 pins as well. So we've got a new socket coming up. The X370. Do we want to talk a little about this? Little bit about this. So X3470. That's going to be Enthusiast lineup of motherboards. B350 and A320 lineup of motherboards.
Yeah. So for the people that will need a comparison, the A320 is going to be the budget one. That'll be comparable to the H110 series offered right now. The B350, that will be sort of like your middle of the ground ones. That'll be to go up against things like the B150 or more commonly the H170. And then you'll have the flagship, which will be the X370, and that's going to be like your Z170 type sort of. Pretty crazy. One to compare
by the time it's released, it's going to be Z270, B250, H210. So that, smart marketing. I like it how they've done a preemptive step. They
Gone
know,
ahead.
they know what's coming out. They know, they know Intel's going to do Z270, B250, and whatnot. And they're saying, well, we're going to go a number ahead. Now, that's really smart marketing. I like that. Again, all they need is the performance. That's all they need. If their claims are true, and, that blender benchmark, if that was indeed around about the same clocks, then they're going to have a real winner on their hands. Like, they are going to come back in a big way. So it's all up to them.
It'll be very interesting, and they're saying these features it has, are pretty standard these days. I don't think it would blow anybody away. M.2 connectivity, that's a given. PCI 3, Generation 3, again. DDR4 memory, we would expect that. USB 3.1 Gen 2, again. NVMe, SATA Express, it's just all these stuff that... So I don't think people will be very blown away by the X370 in terms of features, but I think they're definitely not going to be disappointed. It's going to have everything you would really want to see on a high-end motherboard.
Well, PCIe Gen 3 16 speed, that's going to take a long time to saturate. That, I think Hardware Unboxed, they just did a video. It was a really good video, PCI Express bandwidth. And PCI Gen 2 was handling the Titan XP absolutely fine. Even Gen 1 wasn't doing too bad. What the hell? We got a while to go. I'm thinking PCI Gen 4 is going to hit, and for gaming, it's just going to be, who needs this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Gamers are not going to need it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be something an issue going forward. But yeah, it should. This would be really interesting, especially from a price to performance standpoint.
Yeah.
Really giving it to Intel. But I think a lot of people are very focused on gaming, whereas I think I speak for myself and Brian in saying that we're also quite interested in it from the fact that we run Broadwell E CPUs, and are you running Broadwell E or running?
I'm running 6800K.
Yeah. So we're running Broadwell E, and for people like us who need basically want a combination CPU, which is going to do us very well for our gaming needs, but also we do productivity, so we need something good for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to very much appeal for the guys like us. So I think that'll be where maybe AMD makes it up in terms of they could probably offer a CPU that rivals maybe some of Intel's Enthusiast series CPUs like the 6800 or 6900, but at a much lower price. And that's going to really appeal to a lot of people that are like, wow, now I can actually go out and I don't have to get a gaming GPU.
Well, you're going to say a job, right?
Stuff.
You don't have to get a job now. Like, you can afford a CPU.
I mean, they're just crazy, the prices. I mean, the 6900K, like what I run, is like a nearly $2,000 CPU in New Zealand. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot, right? The 6800K sent me back 600 AUD. That was a lot. I was like, damn, it's expensive. Now, if AMD Zen hits hard, right? A lot of gamers are going to love this. A lot of people editing videos. Everyone's going to love it, right? It's just going to be a hit. It's just that it's got to perform. So, please perform.
Yeah, exactly.
Praise Gabe and praise Jar Jar as well. Jar Jar's a Sith, if you guys didn't know. Jar Jar, he believes as well. He thinks Zen's going to be good too. So, we've got here Kaby Lake. Kaby Lake.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a little bit about Kaby Lake, and I mean all these leaks coming out. It's like people like, who cares about NDA? Let's just drop the performance figures and test everything. So
yeah, it's crazy to actually see. It's always these Chinese sites that are leaking this, but it's because usually how for you guys that don't understand, maybe NDA stands for non-disclosure agreement. What that basically means for a retailer is that a company such as, let's use Intel with Kaby Lake, will send them out all the CPUs because they don't release it and then start sending out products, because they need to have all the products in all the stores and all the countries so that when it launches, people can go out and buy them. The thing is, the NDA, how it works is that if you break NDA, if you say sell a product before the NDA's up, or you do like this does testing and put out a video or put out a written article or something, Intel or any other company that has an NDA can then refuse to supply you with their product in the future. The reason why people say, well, why is it always China, is because these Chinese retailers buy just so many CPUs. They'll buy like 10,000 CPUs. So when they release it, then Intel will be like, oh, you're so naughty. But then again, they bought like 10,000 CPUs, and whatever they're buying them for, you do the math, Intel's made good money. So that's kind of why it's always China, because whereas say a small retailer in another country, say if they try to do something like this, that might cost their business dearly, and Intel would enforce it. But it seems like the whole NDA thing is a bit funny because Intel is sort of quite sporadic with
what you're saying is they could be racist with money. Yeah, because money has feelings. Well, I mean, money has feelings nowadays, right? Money is a person too.
Yeah, so it's just more the purchasing power of these big retailers can outdo an NDA.
Well, but where's the social justice warriors at now? I mean, come on, guys, come defend our rights.
The way of the world. It's just the way it is. But it's good for us because at least we get to see things, even quicker. But yeah, in terms of Kaby Lake, this is something we've spoke about before, that the IPC gains look like they're
where's those figures?
Sort of
clock
mysterious.
Well, we got here clock for clock. I mean, we've already got all the benchmarks here. Clock for clock, 4 gigahertz, 4 gigahertz. Physics score, bang, 60 points lower, like 0.5% slower. This is looking bad. I mean, mind you, there will be chipset drivers updates and whatnot, BIOS updates,
Yeah,
like improved compatibility and whatnot. But I mean, it's looking like it's the exact same thing, really.
That's what we've heard in the past. I think that one you would take with a grain of salt because, you know, this isn't even released yet. But
half a grain, half a grain, yeah.
Half a grain, yeah. But it's interesting. The lineup is going to be. We've seen this about the IPC. There's obviously going to be clock speed improvements, given that the 7700K will be 4.2 base, 4.5 boost, and I'm hearing already people are getting over 5 gigahertz without a huge problem.
Again, I'd call cherry. I'd call golden sample.
Yeah, they might have, but I mean, they're saying it's high temperatures too, so that's quite interesting. But going through this lineup, one thing I said to Brian, which I quite like to see, is this: the 3 SKUs now. So you're getting a 7700K, which is obviously the unlocked, the 7700, which is the same thing but just a locked CPU with a slightly lower clock speed, and you're getting the T lineup, which is the 7700T, which is the low power, obviously much lower clock speed. Version. And what do you make of that, Brian? What do you think of these?
So the T's have always been those low powered. They're actually I'd say they're the cream of the crop. I mean, you look at that 35 watts TDP, right? These things are just the cream of the crop. They such low power draw. I mean, if you're doing like a server security cam rig, you know, you need something that's going to service your whole business on a server. This thing would be great for that. It's going to have low power draw. It's going to have power at its disposal. So yeah, that's where the T's come into place, is when you need something that's always on, always, you know, doing a little bit of either a small, medium, or large workload, but it can handle a large workload. So
yeah, exactly. And I think this little the biggest seller, I think, is going to be the little i3, so the 7350K. So that's a little unlocked. Yeah. I really think it's going to do extremely well. It's a little 2-core, as you can see, with 4 threads. That'll be fine.
Yeah, I know you're on that side, but I'm on the team of more cores, baby. Like I look at an i3, and I'm like, it's just like it's just like a 2-liter. It's souped up. It's had all the modifications done to it, and then you got the 4-core. It's just like a raw V8 that's untouched. You know what I mean? It's just, you haven't put any mods on it yet. I'd rather have the V8.
Yeah, and I mean, there's something to be said there as well. I mean, I don't want to get into it too detailed, because I know some of you guys will understand this, but some of you may not. But the fact is that the 7350K will be a dual core with hyper-threading, whereas the 7600K is just going to be a solid 4-core quad core. So it'll actually have 4 physical cores, whereas the 7350K will only have 2 physical cores. Now, in terms of what that will mean for your gaming experience, if you're worried, well, like I play a certain game, and there are certain games out there that require a quad core CPU in order to run. The game itself is looking at the threads. It's not looking at physical cores. It can only look at the threads. So it actually, in terms of what the game can tell, it wouldn't know the difference between the 7350K and the 7600K. Now, the argument which Brian is making, which is an extremely valid one, is that you would rather have the 4 physical cores rather than 2 physical cores, and essentially
they got their 4 separate floating points in there. They got 4 separate FPUs in there. Yeah. So I mean, that's why I'd rather the 4-core. It's got more raw power.
Yeah. It'll still be a more powerful CPU. There's no doubting that.
It's got more cache as well. You got double the level 3 on there.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, which is good as well.
Not double this time around. Sorry, you got
2.
Yeah, 50% more.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting as well. But I think that would be an extremely good comparison. I think I'll probably Showdown that as soon as I can get my hands on Kaby Lake. I would do the 7350K against the 7600K, and I would see in a wide range of tests which one is actually better, because the 7350 is coming in at a bit of a lower price.
Honestly, I would say straight up from the get-go, I'd love you to test the first game you test. I'd love you to test Crysis 3. I reckon that thing will show a difference.
I thought you were going to say GTA.
No,
GTA
I'm gonna
5.
say I'm
I'm
gonna say Crysis 3, man. Drop 7600K versus the i3 350K with a really powerful graphics card. Let's see the difference. I think the 7600K clock for clock, you set them at the same clock speeds. That i3 is going to be brought to its knees.
Yeah, well, I'd use it with my GTX 1080, which is
first test, straight up, bro. Crysis 3, bang, get it in there.
Yeah. So unless I have a 1080 Ti at that time, but unlikely. But yeah, I think it'll be very, very interesting. But that will come in at quite a good price point, I think. Although the difference isn't as big as you might think. They're saying it's a 177 price tag US on the 7350, whereas a 239 price tag. So I wonder, this is a question for you guys in chat. What do you think? Would you pay that extra money for the, what's that, about 70 extra bucks?
About that.
For the
60. Really.
$7,600. Yeah, 62. Yeah. So would you want to pay, like, judging just by right now, would you personally pay that extra for a CPU that has the actual 4 physical cores, and it also has it actually has a lower clock speed, but of course you guys will be overclocking anyway if you're buying a K variant. So that shouldn't really matter. But so that'll be quite interesting. Lower TDP as well on that little i3. So that should be better in terms of you might be able to get away with different coolers and stuff like that, not going as crazy.
I'd personally go for the extra $62 because, I mean, you're going to be spending that on a Z370 board. You're going to be putting that $100 into the board, or $120, whatever it's going to cost. And also after that, the difference isn't that much anymore, like in total, because you've already spent money on motherboard. Now, if they do, and I think that they can actually do this now with this generation of Kaby Lake, is they can say, okay, the i3, we're going to allow that to be overclocked on, say, a H210 or something like that. I think that's a possibility. And then they're going to say, well, 7600K, 7700K, no, you're going to have a Z270. I definitely know with Broadwell E, they've given themselves that flexibility. Like, you just can't do anything. Even the board partners couldn't do anything about it. So I think that's a possibility. You could see that because the i3, I mean, that will sell the i3 7350K is if they allow it to be overclocked on an entry-level board. Yeah, if they allow that, no SLI license or whatever. I mean, do people still? Is Nvidia still charging for an SLI license, or I don't even know now. I remember they used to charge like $5 or $10 for it or something. Like, are they still charging for that SLI license? That'd be interesting. You got
I don't know.
Entry-level board with a cheaper chipset, license cost, whatnot. So I think that's going to be a win if they allow the i3 to be clocked on entry-level 200 series boards.
Yeah, these could both be a little bit of a fail in the sense that that SR3 Zen CPU, if it's going to be what it is, will be their little cheapie. We talked about it a few weeks ago, and what was it? It's about 200. Did we say it was going to be $249?
$150. I mean, $150. $149. Apparently, the rumor is. So
I don't think it'll be that cheap because that was the quad core with hyper threading, so 8 threads, but. I don't think if that was true, oh boy, would that undercut the. I mean,
and on an entry level board, that would be insane. So.
Oh, the value would just be amazing, but I don't think it'll be that cheap. I think it'll obviously be cheaper than the. It'll probably be right now. I would guess it would fall right in between the little i3 and the i5. So I would imagine it might be say 210 US or something like that. That would be a very good place to land it. Then you would undercut both of them. The people that were looking at it i3 would just be like, screw it, why not? I'll just spend a bit extra money, spend $30 more and get that Zen CPU. And the people looking at the i5 would be like, why would I spend that extra money? So maybe that little SR3, if that's what it ends up being called, might undercut both of them if the performance is that good. Because why would you spend this sort of money on essentially a quad core, one being sort of like a half virtual quad core, or one being a fully quad core, when you can get an 8-thread CPU for less or a little bit more in whichever case. Yes.
So that is that, right? I mean, we've got to see more figures. Apparently there's a rumored event in America coming out, like more on Zen or something like that.
Yeah, soon. December 13th, they're saying that'll be a reveal.
I'm hoping we can get some Chinese retailers just leaking Zen benchmarks. Come on, Chinese retailers, get on it. Get on it. I mean, you do it with Kaby Link. Let's get on with Zen. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Hurry up and do it. Do it. We got here Steam reviews. So they're up from from overwhelmingly negative to mostly negative. So it looks like the update has given some, breathing some hope into this game.
Yeah, and I mean, we'd like to know what you guys think of this. Maybe you guys play it quite often.
Yeah, has anyone installed the update? Is it just like the same thing over and over, or is it any different? Or is it just like a little enhancement that still makes the game boring? Let us know.
Yeah, I think that would maybe... Yeah, I think it'll be good. I also have heard that there was another update very recently for a very much smaller update. We talked about the massive one they did last week, but they've done a smaller sort of bug fixing type update as well. So if maybe you were having a few problems since the Foundation update, which was huge, then they've fixed a lot of them. So
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll rush through these topics because we'll discuss with the audience. They want to talk about Zen, man. They're going to Zen. So they want to get onto it. So we got here a GTA Online import-export DLC announced. So yeah, high-volume exotic car theft arriving this month. So for you GTA fans out there, they're releasing a online bikers DLC or something. Oh no, sorry, not that one. My bad. Import-export DLC. So yeah, that's for you guys. I don't even have time to play games anymore, but I've just been so busy that so that one's coming out. Expect to see that. Looks good. Do you have anything to say about GTA Online? Do you play GTA Online?
I used to. I haven't in a very long time now. I used to. Maybe I don't know. I will again one day. When I do my CPU testing.
Well, I played GTA 5. Right, the single player was just amazing, and anyone who hasn't played it yet needs to go out. Needs to go out there and get the game somehow and play through that whole camp. It was just amazing. Get some good headphones as well. The music, the soundtracks, the radio. It's just too good. And yeah, I don't know. Is the online for GTA Online? Is it a lot of fun? Like, is it like, can it be competitive? I mean, I see it. It just looks like it's a lot of shenanigans.
I mean, you can do missions together, some of which are quite fun. It's generally quite a good time. You can, I've enjoyed it in the past.
Is there any competitive? Like, is there any competition to it though?
Yeah, you can do like just versus type matches and shoot each other and that. Although they're more cooperation type ones where you all have to go do a heist or something like that are they're a lot better generally.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a fun. It can be fun. Yeah, there's still a lot of people playing it. So yeah, I mean,
Resident Evil 7.
Oh, Resident Evil. Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't heard about. Well, I haven't heard about this for a long time. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, Resident Evil's coming. So yeah, it's going to be called Resident Evil 7, beginning hour midnight. And I mean, here's what's new, guys. You can now open the door at the end of the first hallway. So it's a demo. Anyway, it's a demo that's coming out. Looks promising. I mean, I don't know. If you guys are into gore and stuff, I'm not really a big horror fan nowadays, but yeah, Resident Evil's always been a good game to sort of... I mean, for a video game, it's always been scary too. I found that this game's always put me on sort of tilt. Like, ooh, I'm scared. Like, I don't think any other game has sort of given me that scare like Resident Evil has. So
yeah, I think the last few ones have been pretty repetitive though. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I played it on PlayStation way back in the day. Loved it. Played the second one. I think on the third one I started getting bored and then I just quit. And I love the movies as well. I've been following the movies, so I can't wait for the next one. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, YouTube adds support for live streams 4K 60 FPS. So there you go, guys. If you've got like the best bandwidth in the world, if you're in South Korea or something, you can now stream 4K 60 FPS, or you got Google Fiber or whatever. You can now stream at ridiculously high bit rates. For me, this is out of the question. My internet absolutely sucks. you guys are lucky to get a 1080p stream. Like, seriously.
Australia, eh? Just so behind with internet infrastructure. Just behind.
It's not that we're so far behind. It's that we've got clowns in Parliament, like on both sides. There's like no good government on both sides, and they just don't know what they're doing. They just seriously do not know what they're doing. Don't even want to go there. It's like, you know, if you guys in the States or anywhere else in the world thought your government was hopeless, in a first world country, I mean, some third world countries, yeah, admittedly, the governments are just absolutely terrible there, but, you know, first world countries, if you thought your government was terrible, take a look at Australia's at the moment, you know? Just like
take a look at Australia's the last sort of 8 years or so. It's just
it's so bad.
It's been crazy. They've just had so many
wasted money, and like the whole Gold Coast, like the majority of the Gold Coast still doesn't have good internet. Like not even an upload, like not even 10 megabits per second upload. I mean, hell, just roll out something easy. Give us like survivable upload rates, you know. Yeah,
I mean it's really bad. I think the main problem is that this changed prime ministers so often. I mean, Aussies had 5 different prime ministers in the time New Zealand's had a single prime minister, and we've just had the same guy for the last 9 years.
Yeah,
and Aussie's gone through so many in the same time, so it's just it's not very good. And whereas here, most of New Zealand's now got fiber. The majority of the cities and that have got it, and it's pretty fast. We're getting 100 or 200 down.
Yeah.
Depending on your plan you might have, and that's pretty good. You know, that's good enough, and it'll get upgraded more.
I mean,
in the future,
but how hard is it for politicians to say, all right, let's just get a heap of money, roll it out in the major cities first, and then we'll go from there? No, we'll roll it out.
Well, that's sort of. They said it was for business. You know, that was the thing. Yeah.
No, but they're rolling it out to like Bow Desert. There's this place, Bow Desert, I think, that's got really good internet, and it's like it literally is like the most countryest of countryest towns you've ever seen. It's whoop whoop. There's kangaroos everywhere. Let's give these guys amazing internet, and they're out in the farm. They probably just don't even use the internet. Like, what is the government thinking here? Anyway, enough of the rant. The 4K 60 FPS streaming, which is a great thing from YouTube. It's turned into a rant on Australia's terrible internet. But anyway, we've got here Life is Feudal. So get your questions ready. We're going to talk about Zen. We're going to get Zen. And Life is Feudal. You see here, I just did a recent install on my computer, so I've got to figure out what's going on here. An error occurred. It actually looks really cool. Life is Feudal. MMO is coming out. Looks pretty cool. I actually want to check this out because I just want to join an MMO that is really good. It's really fun. Sort of like World of Warcraft was really good, but it's still the same game. So
what's with the symbol on the left? It looks like a reversed, you know, the Soviet Union hammer and sickle, except they changed the hammer for a sword and turned it around the other way.
Well, that's how you do it nowadays, man. You just you gotta quickly whip up. It looks pretty good. So
yeah, I mean, it looks good. I just think, maybe,
So yeah, I couldn't really, I might join the beta, but if anyone's played this, let us know. Is it any good? But it looks pretty good so far. And it's Life is Feudal, yo. Life is Feudal, yo. Your own. Anyway, let's jump to the comments. Comments, guys, we're going to keep talking about Zen, because there's a bit of hype. It's coming.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be interesting, and I think the comparison between the, as I was saying before, the little i3s and i5s from Intel against that SR3 and SR5 from AMD with Zen will be very, very interesting. So we're going to have to see how that goes. But yeah, hopefully. When is? Have we got any dates on Kaby Lake? I'm sorry.
Kaby Lake. January. So it's coming out in January.
So it's the same. So Zen and Kaby Lake will be at this.
Zen's really just rumors at the moment. I mean, those retailer sites have said January is coming for Kaby Lake. So
yeah, a lot of sites have said January for Zen as well. So if you were, say, looking to build a new system or upgrade your motherboard and CPU, I would definitely tell you guys to wait. Right now, wait till the end of January once all these new CPUs and motherboards and everything come out, and then after you've watched all the reviewers do their thing with them, like me and Brian, you'll be able to make an informed decision about what's going to be the best going forward. But I would definitely not recommend doing it right now.
Also, I put the normal cooler back on this RX 480. It looked terrible. I gotta admit, that's probably one of the worst coolers, aftermarket cooling sort of to PCB things that they just look terrible. I mean, the 980 Ti looks really good with the Arctic on there because it's got the backplate and stuff, and this just looks terrible. Like, we got the RX 480 with half the PCB. It just had this, like, it looked like a, Robert Space Industries starship, you know what I mean? Like, flagship starship coming in. Like, I was like, it looked ridiculous. So, put the stock cooler back on. But, the funny thing is, after I got done testing the AMD cards, I put the GTX 1060 back in there, and my Counter-Strike in full screen started having stuttering. Weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, uninstalled the AMD drivers and everything, and just had stuttering. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So, yeah. But it doesn't matter. That was a weird thing.
Here's a question that I can answer, but you can probably answer better than me. How was your internet in Japan? Now, I can just say from my time there that you would expect Japan to have sort of extraordinary internet infrastructure. And I was actually quite disappointed by it. I was expecting...
Japan's poor. Japan's poor. Like, their government is almost broke. I wouldn't be surprised if any year now their government actually filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Like, they just said, we got no money. Because I think it's actually predicted in 2017, 2018, that's when the Japanese can't actually pay the revenue on the debt from the money coming in.
They'll default.
They'll default. So... you guys, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, basically they got no money to upgrade their infrastructure. They're really poor at the moment, the Japanese government. Now, think about it, they're still doing the logical thing though. They're rolling out a gigabit per second in Tokyo, right? I know Sony was rolling that out, Sony Fiber. Now...
Oh, wow. Sorry, Brian. Sorry, just a sec.
What's up?
Oh my God, someone's actually being serious.
What do you mean?
Our Prime Minister just resigned.
Oh, wow, okay. There you go.
What the
That's
hell?
crazy. During a live stream, Kev's Prime Minister is gone. I was just talking about...
That's crazy. We were just saying about why on earth did he resign? It's not... The election's next year.
Okay, anyway. He's who knows?
Oh, God. We're doing it in Australia. No!
He's probably coming... he's probably resigned in New Zealand, coming over to Australia to fix it up. But Japanese internet was amazing. It's been amazing for a long time. I mean, I remember when I went there in 2005 for a holiday, they had like 100 just to everyone's houses. It was incredible. So it was really good. Kind of a wish. That was the only thing I really, besides my son again, I miss is the internet there. So, Viva la revolution. Viva la revolution. So yeah, Kev's Prime Minister has resigned. Zen is coming. It's going to be great. Kaby Lake. Kaby Lake's just going to be another lineup of CBUs. And have you guys got any questions before we wind down the show? Let us know. Well, Kev's just like, he's distraught, man.
No, everything's been going, like, I can just speak for myself personally, but when we look at Australia, we've actually had, regardless if you like Jonky or not, we've had a very stable country compared to Aussie, and this was really sad because a lot of people, regardless of if you like his policies or not, you can't say he hasn't kept us extremely stable. And I don't know why. This just came out. They're saying shock decision. He's just resigned. There's no reason. There's nothing.
It'll come out, man. There's always truth behind what's going on. Like, hey, like, look, New Zealand's doing too well. It's probably New Zealand's doing too well. We've got to nerf your economy. Blah blah blah. So he's like, okay, guys, I got to resign. That's probably what's going on. Now, we got here in the questions. Zen will fix everyone's economy. Maybe. I think that's a possibility. I think, Zen could fix the New Zealand economy too. Also, the New Zealand dollar is really good at the moment. So you can go over to Newegg and you can, like, for those guys in Kiwi, you can go over to Newegg and get some really good deals on things. Like, I just did that review for that memory. Now you can go and pick that up, 16 gigabytes for 100 New Zealand dollars, which is pretty damn good on that memory I just reviewed. So... I saw that. I was like, damn, Newegg's taking care of Kiwis, so that's pretty cool. So someone said, just Kev, relax, man, no big deal. Yeah, just relax, Kev. I'd rejoice if Australia's Prime Minister resigned, and then the other guy resigned, and they just kept resigning until like someone completely new came into Australian politics and said, hey, I'm actually going to work.
It's just it puts it in a. The strange thing is the guy that will take over now, called Bill English. He was last election. He said he wanted to retire from politics, and now he becomes prime minister. So you sort of have a situation where you have someone that doesn't want to, that was considering about retiring, now is going to take over. Okay. So he might end up going as well, because he might be like, oh, screw this.
Someone actually asked a good question as well. Ghetto zip tying fans to your GPU heatsink. I absolutely recommend it. I mean, if you've got no other choice,
you can do that. You can do that.
I mean, if you've got no other option and you need to get your parts cooled, then do it. Like, I'm all for it. I actually did that on that Arctic cheap cooler I got for $20, and it worked pretty well. As for the VRM heatsinks, I do need to get a Dremel. I do need to do that, and I do need to start cutting up heatsinks more like refined heat sinks that are fitting exactly properly and stuff like that. So because I've had some heat sinks lately, like some of the VRMs, like the RX 480 stock VRM, it was so hard to get some heat sinks on that properly on the VRM. And also the 7970 that I had, because after I did that video with the his cooler, the reference cooler, it was just too noisy. Like any reference cooler, except the the latest NVIDIA ones, are pretty damn noisy in my opinion. There is the AMD one that's really good, I think, on the 70. No, not the X2, whatever it is, Fury, not the X2, like whatever that one was with that big one in the middle. That was alright too, I think. But any other reference cooler is usually like this one's noisy. His 7970 was noisy, so I actually put the Sapphire one that I had from that busted up one that my friend gave me, and I put that on. But the problem was the VRM was different, the actual layout of it. So I had to I just got the bolt cutters. But I posted up a photo on Twitter, and it's just like I put the VRM heatsink on there, and it worked really well. It's just I did bolt cutters, and my brother's like looking at me with this shock, like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, just fitting a heatsink on there, just casually bolt cutters on a heatsink. So if you guys don't have a Dremel, you can use bolt cutters. That was the it'll look terrible, but it will perform okay. So and a rubber mallet too. I had to get the rubber mallet on it too, just to bend it back a little bit. So because the bolt cutters sort of bent it. So Zen. People are like, yep, get back to Zen. So that's it. Someone's going to name their firstborn Zen as well. I mean, that's pretty cool. Just name your kid Zen. But if AMD, if the IPC is a fail, then, and you named your kid Zen, your kid will then be synonymous with fail, which is not good. So just wait. Just hold out for Zen to be released before you name your kid Zen. Okay? Just hold out, brother. Do it for me. Do it for the world. But I do want to see those AMD for life, like AMD with a 4 symbol and then LYF, all in caps. AMD for life shirts running. I might even put one up on the shop, eh? AMD for life. That's it. We need to get it. And then you put 4 cores and then a greater symbol 1. That's what we need. Or 100 cores is greater than 5. That's it. We got the comments. We need that. We need that sentiment back in the. In the next couple of months, I'm opening the doors to the AMD, full-fledged AMD fanboys. We're talking about these guys that will just fight to the death. They don't care, even if they look wrong in an argument. I'm giving these guys my permission to just go ham in every comment section, go crazy. AMD for life. We have to believe, guys. And I want to see that we have to believe comments as well. All in caps. I'm not there. People keep like, why is this Smithy Gaming? He just keeps asking me to do dabs. I don't do that. I quit smoking. I don't smoke anything anymore. I just got to quit that stuff. It actually was raising my blood pressure. It was really weird. So it had a negative effect on me. But you know, it did help through stressful times, the smokes. So, yeah. Also the mic. Yeah, I got asked what mic do I use. V67G. I love this microphone. I don't know what it is. I started trying it. There's a few different microphones out there that run in this sort of price segment. There's the Behringer B1, the AT2035. You know, MXL also have a cheap, or not cheaper version, but another variant. I just find like with microphones, you got to find which one sort of suits your voice, because they've all got different frequency responses. So this one, I don't know, I just love it. Like, I listen back to this thing, it's warm, it sounds sexy, it's a nice mic. I can highly recommend it, but that's the thing, it's not just the mic, you got to get a compressor. So I was talking about on the forums about what compressor I use. So if I go to Japan again, I'm going to pick up all these compressors, because they're just, I mean, audio interfaces with the compressors on them, because you just don't see them. And they're like going in Japan, these audio interfaces are going for like $20. Like, absolute bargain. People don't realize how good they are, how powerful they are.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Shall we do we'll do one more question, guys.
Yeah.
This will be a good one for Brian. So Sween said, so here's what I wanted to know. How much effect do you think Zen and Kaby Lake chips will have on the current used parts market due to GPU pricing being kind of messed up right
good
now?
question. Love that. More questions like this. You go, Kev. You go first.
Well, I think it'd be better for you to answer, because I mainly deal with, I don't deal with much used parts. I'm always dealing with brand new parts.
Okay, well the thing is, it's always good for the used parts market. We look at those new GPUs, RX 480 and RX 470 and, you know, GTX 1060, especially the 3GB model. Those cards just brought down the used parts section, especially on GPUs. Now, CPUs, if this is really good and the price is low, you can expect used parts hunters to rejoice. That's what I like about this. It's phenomenal. You know, like that $174 build, man, I get so many comments like, this is bullshit. And it's like, dude, I showed the freaking Gumtree ads in the freaking video. Like, it doesn't, you know. And anyone, I just dare you, if you do not believe me, just get a ticket, find someone who's rich, get them to sponsor you with a vlog cam, come stay with me for a couple of weeks, we'll go hustling. You can see me do the deals. You know, none of it, like my brother, especially in Japan, he was with me like a lot of the times I did some of those hunts. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know, these guys just don't understand. It's like, I'm with you. There's nothing fake about what I do. I just got nothing to hide. I don't care. It's like, why would I need to fake shit? I just want to help people. Exactly. Like, I've always, ever since I started the channel, I want to help people. I'm like, look, there's deals out there. And there's so many other people out there that are picking up deals. And they're like, yeah, this is right. You can pick up some really good deals on secondhand parts.
Yeah.
You know, like, look at this. Look at this. This was real here. 7870s for £28 in the UK. This was on the forums. Someone posted it up. This was actually legit deals going on. That's a crazy deal. I love that. £28 for a 7870. This thing was actually legit.
Yeah.
You know, you could get these when they have them in stock.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's just so many good deals in used parts, and Zen will only bring down the used parts sector more.
Yeah.
So it's so good.
We expect it so, yeah.
Yeah, you got to hustle. You got to hustle. That's the thing. You got to hustle. You got to see the deal. You've got to know what's a good deal. You can't hesitate. You know, I know a lot of guys, and it's sad, right? If you don't have much experience building PCs, you're gonna get into it and you're gonna go, okay, I don't know what's going on here. Is this part worth the money? But for me, I know, like, I've done enough builds to kind of know what's good and what's not at what particular price point, right? So when you see a deal, I do not even hesitate. It's like, okay, you know, 7970, it's 100 AUD. I'm going to drop in $90 because there's going to be someone else there who's going to lowball at 80 or 70. You know, there's going to be someone else out there lowballing. And, you know, when they lowball, that person's going to look at a better offer. Now, if I call him up and just say, look, would you take $90? He's going to be like, okay, cool. Come and get it. It's only $10 under what I'm asking. He's going to come pick it up right now. Hustled. Yeah. I picked it up $10 cheaper. I've also got the deal. So you got to look at how, like, that's just what goes through my head when I look at some of these deals. You got to know what it's worth. Sometimes I'll just even pay what they're asking if it's that good of a deal. So it's all about hustling and sort of knowing the market, knowing what's sort of the ad, how desperate this guy is in the ad description, whatnot. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but used parts, Zen will definitely help bring it down. Should you sell your i7 6700K? I mean, from what look at Kaby Lake, I mean, you don't really got much of the same right there. So yeah, not really worth it. We'll just answer some quick questions. Does anyone have a Samsung 960 Pro SSD? I don't know. Actually, I'd love to get one and test it against this one I've got here. So, there was the $260 R9 Fury as well. I thought that was a pretty good deal. That was a pretty good deal. That was a decent deal, but you can get them secondhand for even cheaper, yeah? So, it just depends though. You do have to be careful in countries with cheap power. They may have been used for Bitcoin mining, so do be careful of that. That's one thing. In Australia, I don't think anyone would have been Bitcoin mining unless they did it at their work and they used their work's power. You know what I mean? Like, it's just per kilowatt hour, it's expensive as hell down here. In Japan as well. There was like no Bitcoin miners in Japan. So, yeah.
All right, man. Well, we're going to round up the show there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's about the most zen stream we've ever done.
That was pretty crazy. I did get asked too. Sorry, this is one more juicy question. I love talking about used parts. What was the best used deal in Japan? I'd say that $10 PC that I picked up on the vlog. That was insane. It came with a Seasonic PC, Seasonic power supply, LG S7 M1 board, cooler, blah blah blah, just case, everything. I love that deal. There was the $5 PC too. That actually worked out for League of Legends. And then, of course, in Australia here, for actual enthusiast-based PC, that's probably the best one I've built in terms of modern contemporary gaming, that $174. And that's, that's thanks to the prices of GPUs dropping from the new sector, a few other things as well. As time goes on, used parts are going to get more and more appealing. So, anyway, guys, we're going to wind down the show. Thanks for tuning in. I'll put Kev's link in the description below. You can check him out, check his channel out. Tech Showdown. I'll link some URLs for you guys, techcity.tv, whatnot. Thanks for tuning in. I love y'all. Stay tuned. Next week, another episode of Tech Lounge. Juicy. We'll try and get some special guests on too. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about that. I've just been like busy as bro. And anyway, we're gonna wind it down. Love y'all. Catch you next time.
Awesome. See you guys.